Hey,
Hey,
check
mate.
all right. We've actually, I just because I'm in such a rush, I think we've taken over the Hex Asians. Pirate takeover of the Hex Asian streams. Sorry, Asians.
That's all
Sorry.
right. We got there in the end.
Yeah,
Bit of trouble going back and forth, but that's all good. You can hear me
yeah,
fine, can you?
yeah. You're coming through great. Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
So, all right. So I see what you've done. Your link is renamed
I just
Xage. It's okay.
I just did it really quickly, and I'm not sure if I can actually change the title. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, don't know. It seems to be a common issue in Restream, from what I can gather. I don't know.
Maybe the hang on.
I don't
Hang
run
on.
the stream end. So.
Unrekt. That's what I'll do. I'll just change the title in here. Yeah. Yeah. So how you going? Okay.
Yeah, going really well actually. I think me and you have been having a little bit of back and forth in the old Pulse chat, haven't we? So we can
Yeah.
maybe,
Totally.
maybe have a
Yeah.
little chat
Yeah.
about that later on.
So do you reckon he'll have a USD stablecoin?
I think you'd have to. It makes sense to have something like that on your platform. I think you don't necessarily need it, but I think people have come to sort of expect to have something like that to even for pairing liquidity and the like. So I think that's going to be a requirement. So yeah, so for people that are watching this after the fact, we're having a bit of a chat about whether we thought there would be a stable coin on the Pulse chain network, and we said, well, how would we go about doing that? And I introduced Paxos, I think it's called, which is basically stable coins as a service. So that's what Binance uses on their chain, and there's no reason why we couldn't use it on Pulse if we needed to, and at least you would have that. Well, because you think about the way the liquidity moves at the moment, it flips between the ETH pair and the USDC pair, and depending on where the majority of that liquidity sits, insulates you from either the downside volatility of ETH. So if ETH's on a downtrend, then you can park more liquidity against USDC, and that stabilizes Hex. Likewise, if ETH's on a bit of a tear, then probably makes sense to have more liquidity sitting in that side of the pool, and you get the benefit of being, as Rich has described before, where you're more locked to that peg. So if ETH's going up, you get the benefit of the USD appreciation to some degree as well.
So how would that work? He'd just dump a whole lot of Pulse into, like, they do it at 8-1 or 5-1. They lever it up, and that would create the stable coins or something. Or
so I'm not sure how. I haven't looked into how you actually get the stable coin on your platform. Someone has to stump up
a lot of money.
The funds somewhere, because otherwise you've got no liquidity in that coin. So if you wanted to do, basically you take the Pax coin, which is white labeled, which means you can then rebrand it however you like. So PUSD, and then we would have Pulse USD.
Yeah.
But you would have to, if Pax is doing the right thing, they should be holding USD assets to back the token. Now, I don't know how they do that, but that's in theory what should happen. So someone has to acquire that Pax and to convert it into PUSD, I would think.
Yeah. I thought with most stable coins they do it at like if you want an ETH stable coin, you have to put in like the 5 or 8, whatever it is, 10 times as much, so that in case ETH goes down, you can still cover it. Like it's a.
I know where you're going with that. Look, you probably can, but on the back end, they're really giving you a USD equivalent. So yeah, you may be right. They could hold collateralization.
That's how collateralized USD. Yeah, that's how like DAI does it, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I know because I thought they hold it. That's a bit different though. I think they hold a range of ETH.
Yeah, they do.
and maybe a stable coin and something else. So they've got a range of assets that they use to stabilize the price of DAI. Whereas this would be something different. You're not creating a brand new stable coin. You're just rebranding an existing one.
Yeah.
Which if you went and purchased it or acquired it somehow, however you would do that, you could bring it into the system, and you don't. It makes sense that it makes sense that to get the packs, you could probably put up ETH as security.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You have to put up something, and so unless they have a facility where you can actually just front up the US dollars.
Well, it might be as simple as you've just got to go and buy the pack. So you've got to send in the equivalent
of packs. That makes sense.
So you send in the equivalent of ETH or USDC or whatever.
And that's what Binance did, and they just slapped their name on it. Huh?
Yeah. Now, how you buy it, whether you transfer ETH and get it in return, or whether you can do some sort of like collateralized sort of lending, that way you don't have to give up your ETH. If you had a big bag of ETH and you
wanted to keep it in ETH,
yeah.
The only thing is it gets tied up in that.
Yeah, but you could always
the OA does have a big bag of ETH.
Have you got a big bag of ETH sitting there, and so you're either providing liquidity on the ETH hex pair, or which means you're still holding that ETH besides the impermanent loss, or you tie it up to get some USDC or equivalent stablecoin, and that would work, I would imagine. And you're not letting go of the ETH, so you're not losing the value of the ETH going up.
Oh, you got Pirate coming in here. Clone Pirate Unrekt. Right. Okay, hey, bro, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Can you hear me okay? Sorry about
we got you now, mate.
No internet on your new island?
Hang on, can't quite hear you. That's full.
Can't hear us.
Full. Yeah, that's full gas. I could just hear.
Unrekt has just been scouting new islands to buy, and so he's on the road just checking out new islands. If you put it in landscape, it'll look better, Pirate. That's it. Well, that's better. That's a bit nicer. Oh, lovely view as well. Beautiful. Yeah, it sounds great. You can hear us okay?
Yep, I can just hear you. Oopsie, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah. Postcard. Straight off the postcard. Look at that.
It is.
Hey, you can hear me okay. It's working on my mobile phone connected to the
just 4G or
whatever network. Like I'm just on a Mason, which is like the cheap bloody, plan.
Just a prepaid.
And then hang on now look at this. Now it's like I've got the spinning wheel of death on my computer. I want to show you all this has been setting. I've been trying to set this up for a couple of hours now. Look. Well, not an hour or so, and then of course it's the same old. The network drops out. He's going anyway.
Excellent. Yeah, good.
Look, I got all my studio stuff all set up.
You got all the kit.
Everything. Yeah, right.
And now I have to go on a cracked old Blackview
phone. Yeah.
Android phone.
That's pirate style, mate. Pirate style.
Oh, it's pirating, all right. It's crypto pirate. How is all the crypto pirate?
Also, I don't know.
Decentralization, isn't it?
I don't know if you. Also, I don't know if you. Because I was in such a rush, I just quickly went into Restream, and because I'm using the same Restream as the Hex Asians, we're actually come up as Hex Asians.
Really?
In the title, yeah. And I couldn't really work out how to change it.
Oh, well, they're here anyway, mate, because they're buying all the land and the houses and the properties everywhere. Aren't they? That's what's pushing the prices up. So you might as well say we're Hex Asians, eh? Why not?
I know you keep saying that, mate, but it's not. It's the Americans, it's the English, and the Belgians that are buying up Australia.
Where the bloody hell are you?
That's right.
Hey? Living the dream.
Yeah.
Righto.
Nicely, mate.
Well,
so get a bit of that's better. Yeah, get a bit of light on yourself because you're pretty dark.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit. I can't sit here holding my phone the whole time, so I'm going to have to find a spot for it. But you see if my actual Unrekt profile comes up. It's trying to join, but it's not showing up, and that was the same thing. It was just too much lag before.
Yeah. I noticed that it came up and went away really quickly before.
Yeah, it sort of wanted to try. I moved. I actually had. It was just like you think the most important thing, like having reliable internet, would be says I've lost the connection to the host with my computer, would be one of the number one priorities for the country. And they've always talked about how important this is, and then you come to use it, they put the most important box right down the back in the corner. It's just a big tangled bird's nest of wires. I had to untangle it all and fix it up. And
Starlink, we need Starlink.
Although I wanted to get this backdrop, I got like another level upstairs, which is like a private balcony, and it's just it's a good spot.
Well, you picked the penthouse, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. I wouldn't say that. It's maybe 4 star, maybe 4 star. Yeah.
4 stars.
4 star. Yeah.
Living the dream.
It's not the top. No, well, it is pretty good here. Like, it's nice. Like, there's some really nice spots here. I can tell you now.
It's nice.
I know why people want to. I know why people want to live here, because it's really nice. Down by the beach, the sound of the waves, the ocean. There was like a massive pod of dolphins that went past yesterday. It was like
beautiful.
Stingrays and dugongs and all kinds of bloody sea creatures, all just going like in a massive herd up the coast. It's amazing.
Beautiful. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I was just like here watching. We could see it from here.
I'm always waiting for some big tropical bird to swoop in and take Blue Bum away. He's always got things going on in the background there.
Yeah.
There's some weird birds here, man.
The bird calls. You do get a lot of bird calls and that from up there,
man. Birds and bats and there's all sorts of strange jumping spiders.
So it is decentralisation, isn't it? So it's good that I have an issue, then you can stream, and we're off. It's good.
Yeah, off for the races.
I'll see if I can get this in here.
So Jexer and I were just talking about whether he'd have whether Richard's going to put a USD stable coin on Pulse or not.
Oh, there would be one for sure.
You reckon?
But who's going to do it? Oh, decentralized stable coin. Well, that's where the battleground. That's where the crypto battleground is, isn't it? That's where the governments are trying to interfere with or get their hands in the honeypot.
Nah, they've accepted USDC pretty much. Like I think Visa accepts USDC now.
Well, you'd have to expect USDC will be on Pulse chain for sure. It has to be, because look at the liquidity pairs. The majority of liquidity isn't the majority of liquidity in USDC now. Is that still the case?
That's definitely starting to.
Yeah, for sure it is.
Tether's lunch. I reckon they'll end up taking over Tether. I'll be very surprised if USDC doesn't become the central bank digital currency. I could just see that happening.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's the easiest thing for them. I mean, if Visa were already accepting it, and that's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. And I heard Mike Novogratz just drop a couple of hints that he was saying he wishes he was part of USDC, or as in the company. So he obviously knows what's going on in the background there as well, I'd imagine.
How do they make money? That company?
Well, that's part of Coinbase, isn't it? USDC.
Well, that makes a bit more sense now. Hey,
I think it is. I could be wrong.
It's tomorrow that Coinbase are listing, hey?
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow in America. So maybe it's a couple of days away. I don't know the time difference. But yeah, it's just like pretty soon, hey?
Yep.
Do you think that will have much of an effect on anything?
I can't see it moving the price of any cryptos too much, I wouldn't think. So it's obviously, I reckon it's very positive. Be interesting to see what they list at. Is there any indications?
Might be a few people. Well, I think I saw one other YouTuber that were like, they were standing by ready to, if it starts exploding, they were going to start pouring money into like Uni and all of the other kind of exchange kind of tokens. Because if Coinbase suddenly gets listed, gets valued at over 100 billion or whatever, then their thinking was everyone is going to think, oh, these other ones are worth just as much, or some fraction of, and so they're going to pump, and so they're just getting ready to buy that in case.
That's the thing. You can't buy anything in that though. Like if you're gonna look at that, you'd be looking at the likes of Gemini and all those sorts of guys. But you can't buy into them like that.
Yeah. No, well, you can buy in uni. You can buy the token. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's just people betting on other people's perception.
Yeah.
It's isn't it really? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe those big guys. Some of them sell some of their Bitcoin for the Coinbase. Look, who knows? I've got no idea. Like,
so if you're an investor in Coinbase, you've been sitting on that for a while, and when they do an IPO, once that rallies up to whatever level it does, then that's your exit point. So depending on what sort of money's come in, but if you've had VCs bring money in,
yeah, they'll all be cashing out.
That's their exit point.
The big payday.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they've been working towards for the last 10 years, man.
Exactly. I'll dump it on everyone.
Yeah. So that's where get a maximum price and then unload. So
it's not. It is not a bad bet. Like what other industry has got this much kind of potential upside into the future? It's
look how much the likes of Binance and those guys make, like compared to traditional institutions. These guys are killing it. Like in a short amount of time, they're absolutely killing it. So people want a piece of it.
Yeah.
So maybe let the dust settle, and then it might be worth picking up a little bit. If you've got a super fund or something like that.
I'm not going anywhere near shares. Nah, bugger that. Nah. I don't want to play that game. But we can't in Australia, can we? How do we get? Can we get it? Or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure, you can. Yeah.
Oh, we can we? What's listed on an Australian exchange as well? Or
you can usually get a lot of through even ComSec and things like that. You can tap into the US equities.
So when's that?
Like E-Trade or whatever.
When's that happening?
ComSec. Yeah.
When do you reckon those? When do you reckon those?
Middle class is getting stuck into you, blue bum.
Tell him to download it, and then I'll tell him we'll get it. We'll publish it on our channel later.
Middle classes. He wants you to change.
Hang on. We've got someone else in the back room. JFK 666 coming to us.
Buddy.
There he is.
It's night time where he is. At the Sydney Harbour Bridge, is that or no? I have no idea. Some bridge.
Yeah, well, we've got an NFT of it for sale, if you'd like.
Oh, yeah? You're selling NFTs now, mate.
A couple $100,000?
Oh, no, a couple of hundred each.
Yeah. Does it give you the rights to walk on the bridge?
You can do whatever you like once you pay me the ETH.
Righto.
How you been, JFK?
I've been pretty tired. Just finished like a big stint at work, and I've been working extra hard in between on a new meme, which
yeah, right. You know, I had
finished.
I played your last meme. I played your last one, the Twisted Sister one, on my last stream, and then I got a you saw that I got a notice, and so I had to take it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on. I think it's on.
This one's I'm doing a little bit different. I'm not.
We can hear you, mate. We can hear you. Yeah.
Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
You're actually quite loud because your microphone is.
I'm moving. I'm getting out of this noisy zone.
You're gonna mute while you're sorting your shit out.
Yeah, I'll mute him.
Sorry, guys. There we go.
Yeah, I'm doing something a bit different with the launch of this meme. Actually, there's going to be a premiere of it on Wake Up Hex Kinetics show. So probably and then I'm going to put it on Twitter after that. But
and are you kind of concerned now about using copyrighted music because?
Well, Kinetics said that there's a couple of sections in there, but he said he would just mute it every 3 seconds for a bit, and that covers the copywriting. So that's the way he goes about it.
Just a really quick mute on and off every now and then, or
every 3 seconds apparently.
Right. Won't that sound really weird?
Oh, well, I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'll post it uninterrupted on Twitter as per usual, and people can watch it after that if they want.
No copyright issues on Twitter.
I think they might want to because it's a blow my own trumpet here, but it's a pretty good one.
Nice.
How long have you been working on this one for?
In between work, in between doing 12-hour shifts, which doesn't give me much time in between, about 3 days.
Yeah, right.
So bits and pieces. I won't say too much. I won't give anything away. But, it might be worth tuning in to Wake Up Hex, put it that way.
All right.
Awesome.
So when's that? Tomorrow?
Good question. Because I'm doing sort of shift work, I don't even know what bloody hell, what the day of the week it is, mate. Really? So, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Oh, Wednesday they do it, don't they? So.
And in America, so that might be in a couple of days. Or night, tomorrow night for us or something. Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah. Well, they actually have, what time? I mean, sometimes I've seen them on like 12. Sometimes, I don't know, like maybe it's
Jesus,
later.
Unrekt, stop showing us bloody upshots of your shorts.
No, I don't encourage him.
Oh, Jesus.
How long does it take him to get set up, eh? Just sit down. Just sit down.
He's making RG look like a fucking technical genius. It's too good.
I unmute him and he cuts off. Okay.
CPR. Very good. I'm trying to think what else has been going on.
What's cooking? Price has just been going a bit sideways for the last week, I suppose.
It's actually
got up to.
That's looking all right. So there was a guy that was dumping a heap.
Oh
at one
yeah.
stage unloaded.
And then he staked the last 19 mil, hey?
Yeah, I think there's about 65 mil in his account. Unloaded approximately 40 odd of it. Then staked out 19 for either 10 or 15 years, I think it was. Is that right?
I think it was
just a little. Yeah.
Oh, it was only short, was it?
I think it was like 30 days or something. And I've been looking on the Staker app, and there are some really, really long, big money,
mute
long
Unrekt
stakes.
again, mate?
Yeah, sure.
Am I muted?
Yep.
Am I
No.
muted?
No, you're not, mate.
Now you are, mate. It takes a bit. So yeah,
he's blind and muted.
So yeah, there's a few big stakes, long stakes, but there's also a hell of a lot of short ones. Like I'm just looking here, 2 hours ago, someone's staked nearly $1 million for 6 days, and
is that even worth it?
And then another one,
$1 million.
Another one,
$1
million for nearly 6 days, and
Yeah.
another 817 hours ago, 860. Was that the same? See, no, it's a different one. Different shark for 6 days, 862,000, and 7.54 million for 90 days.
Say that again.
$7.5 million for 90 days.
So what's that?
But then Stacks is also going out really long into the future. How much do you get on 90 days? $7.5 million.
I don't know if I'm doing this right. 81,000 per day. Does that sound right? $7.5 million.
Well, it's probably like
it's close to about
8%. It's probably like 8% or something. Hey, 7
you
or
reckon?
8%.
I done it on 13% annual, so about 1% per day. Hang on, dickhead, 1% per month. So yeah, 81 per month.
Oh, okay. So it's like
That's
10 grand a day or something. 8 or 9 grand a day. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nearly three grand a day, give or take, 2.5 grand a day.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not bad, earner.
The price for keeping it liquid. See, I just ladder it out because you know that you're not going to. Like, if I had that much money, I'd just ladder it out. I don't know why. Like,
playing a different game, I guess.
You're never going to be able to sell the whole lot.
I think that the only reason you would do it short like that is if you're expecting the price to uptick soon and that's maybe when you'd get rid of some. Like, why else would you?
But even if the price upticked and then you dump the $7.5 million, you'd take it down to like
yeah.
Like that'd kill the, like you wouldn't be able to, would you?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why you would.
Suppose
Why
everyone's-
you do that. Yeah, everyone's different. I guess. Yeah, you can if you can take 80 grand off the table every month. That's not bad earnings either, is it? You could live off that.
Apparently this is. Apparently it was a secret that I was using the X-Hexation stream.
Not anymore.
Yeah, right. Sorry, everyone. Guilty. Yeah.
Busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a bad earner, I guess, if you're looking at that from that point of view. But in terms of price action, so yeah, we had that big sell-off, but that looks like that's all hopefully done and dusted for the most part now, and forming a nice little bull flag there. So this might be the chance where we get that next leg up. And I think I said around 3.5 cents would be a pretty good first stop off point, where we might have to consolidate a little bit there. So I think we've all seen it on the YouTubes or the trader types. They've been putting out their predictions and setting their targets for around 2.5 cents or 2 cent range. So it was always natural that there was going to be.
What's going to happen in what is it? How long until Richard gives more details? So it's a couple of weeks. 2.5 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Until he gives more as soon as he gives more details about what it is, and it's going to be something like serious FOMO or something.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's got the potential to have that another big payday. FOMO
type of event. Yeah, exactly. Like get your stakes in because you'll get pulse for your stakes or something like that.
Like you would like, if I'm just thinking through what I would do, you would like to. You don't want to crucify the people that have got liquid because they're obviously supporters of the project anyway. But you want the guys that have done the right thing in a locking or staking. You would want to give them preferential treatment.
Well, you'll also want the potential validators, whoever the validators are going to be, to have a lot, and you want those people to be really signed up for long term. You want them to be long term hexagons.
I was watching one of this. What was it? It was there was one stream Richard done. I don't know whether it was Jane King? Is that her name, or Janet King or Jane King?
And it was her and a guy.
Yeah. I'm not sure
yeah.
if it was that one or there was another one I was watching, and Richard made some comment which now in retrospect makes a lot of sense. So he's been thinking about this for a while, but it was about he made some comment about having a certain amount staked, or being a large staker would allow you to be a validator or something like that. Now that's all total speculation. I don't know what he's planning, but it seemed to me like it was going to be pinned somehow to hex stakes. Now I don't know whether that's true or not.
Well, that's what I mean. You give the pulse to the. I mean, we don't know what the mechanics of how you would stake pulse would be either.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. So I don't know whether he was referring to pulse being staked, but it seemed to me that he was referring to
the hex stakes. Yeah.
So I don't know how we'd tie that in though. But yeah, that was just an interesting throwaway comment he made. But sometimes his throwaway comments, when you go back and listen to him 12 months later, you go, this dude, he was planning this all along. Like, what was going on? So
we got Unrekt coming on from a different computer, I think. I'm going to do that.
No, still sorting out his tech.
There we go. Right.
Hey, did you guys see Johnny Chaos put a post up on that? A speculative one on the Pulse chain. It just basically said, this was in Twitter, what if there's no Hex Pulse, just Pulse, which has all Hex features plus ZK features all rolled into one layer one?
No.
Because
you've got the Hex contract. The whole point is it's had been audited. And hey, Unrekt, we've got an echo coming.
I know. Yeah. It's gone now. Sorry, that was my phone doing that.
Yeah. Well, I can't see that happening because they've done the contract basically has been audited, and he's mentioned that they want to keep it that way, and that's the whole point of keeping it on an ETH fork so they can do it on Solidity, and so I think the contract's going to be just exactly the same. And ZK Sync is a technology. So the ZK roll-ups are a technology that people are still working on. And no one's, even though some people have like put it out for transactions, no one's put it out in terms of contracts. There are some places like I think DYDX is going to could be using it for with contracts, and they're doing it through Starkware. And they said they were going to be releasing in May, so that'll be coming out soon. But yeah, I can't see how you could roll up Pulse and Hex into the same thing. Maybe
So
you
here
could.
we are
What
on
do
the
I
Hex
know?
Late Show, eh? Talk about all this stuff on Hex Asia. Hex, we're hijacking their title, are we?
Yeah,
Hey, we're all turning Japanese.
yeah.
Hey,
We're taking
That's it,
over.
mate.
cool.
Well,
There you go,
geographically,
out there,
Australia is
all our
part of
Asian
Asia.
fans and all that. What's going on? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but everything seems to be working okay now, boys, and here we are.
And mate, we're all just about to wind up. You've only just got on here.
No, it's only
Yeah.
4:45, so it's about halfway through the show. It only took me to set up. Clown.
So you bought, as long as you bought your sound
my
thing,
little-
hey,
Is that working? As long as that's
on the
working, then
road.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So did you have anything you wanted to talk? Have you got anything you wanted to talk about, or?
No,
You
I'm
just-
quite happily just listening to you. I did see those sharks, those big bags, like millions and millions of hex, and they're just doing like 30-day stake, and then they're cleaning out 80 grand a month or something like that. Oh, mate, how would you like to be in that shot? How'd you like to be wearing those shoes? Hey, geez, I've been having fun.
Is that how you paid for the
doing
apartment you're in there, mate?
Exactly right. You know it.
How's your trip been so far, Unrekt?
Yeah, I
Pretty
haven't
good?
got far. I haven't got far yet. We're just, I've just parked up at throwing the anchor at Caloundra. Plan is to head up to sort of Townsville, Magnetic Island, and then on to Cairns.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
it's a fair hike, and obviously the clock's ticking. And but as I said, we were going to leave today, Tuesday, but now I'm here till Thursday. I'm here in Caloundra till Thursday now, so we'll see how we go for the next couple of days. It's really relaxing. The water's right there. You go down the beach, swimming. It's a nice little part of the world, really.
Yeah,
it's
Unrekt, do you
beautiful.
know that it's further from Brisbane to Cairns than it is from Brisbane to Melbourne?
Yeah, I know.
So it's
Yeah,
unreal. It's a long,
which is a
long way.
37-hour drive. It's a
Is that
37-hour
true?
drive to Melbourne. Yeah, I've done it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you bob down to
Not by
Sydney
much,
and
but it
stay
is
overnight
longer.
there, and then from Sydney through to Melbourne. Yeah, or the
Yeah,
Newell
I
Highway.
actually-
You can go inland. Yeah, coastal. I go down
You know,
and
I
then come back up through the Newell Highway.
I actually drove that, but it seemed like a hell of a lot longer from Melbourne to Brisbane even. But I
Yeah.
mean, I was just
Well, you got to
going
spend all
along.
that time in the car. Well, you got to get along with the person who you're traveling with. That's for sure. Imagine having a bunch of like 3 screaming kids in the back. They're like they're real. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't have to
just
do
wanna,
that.
hey.
I don't have to worry about that.
Here, kids, take this pill.
Yeah, have a little bit of brandy with your milk. It'll get you off to sleep nicely. But yeah, no, that's the best time to travel when you got kids. Get up really early, travel in the dark, in the night, and the kids sleep in the back, and it's all good. But
Put 'em in the
otherwise,
boot.
yeah, I'm a little bit flustered. I
In the
had
boot.
best laid plans to obviously have the stream links and everything set up, and I just can't keep up with what's going on and all the streaming and like to watch all the hex content that's going out there. I had there was a couple of things that I wrote down notes wise, but what do you? It's other than that,
Chuck them out there, man. What have you got?
another day in paradise, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what have I got?
I think I was just saying. I think we're still in the calm before the storm yet. We've made a little bit of a run, and we're just having that little rest. A few people, eager people, taking a bit of profit. So from a price point of view, I reckon we're shaping up pretty good.
Jack, so you've been pretty. Your stuff's been pretty accurate and well thought out, like in terms of like technical analysis, like that little 13-minute video that you did. Yeah, I reckon that's pretty close to. I mean, that's
I gave a couple of months slippage as well, so I was calling 13.5 cents by July.
Yeah.
If you get if you get a good boost off of the back of, so we've had this nice little little run up, and the pattern I'm seeing here is it's playing out exactly as it did before. We had a hang on, let me just measure the move I had up before, but it was a good. Let me just have a quick look. So last time we had this sort of pattern at the bottom of a double bottom. So that was running into the New Year's Eve top, and that went up 200%, 220%. So that would put us from here. Let me just.
I'm really sorry, by the way. While he's doing that, I'm just the chat is not coming up in the restream.
No chat.
I'm not sure.
No chat.
I'm not sure why.
Is there a
I think
YouTube
actually
link? Oh, yeah.
he was actually having Middle Class was actually having the same problem.
We got any viewers? Anyone?
Last night we've got 9 viewers.
Where
So
on what channel are you putting that out on YouTube?
My channel, I think.
No,
yeah.
is it yours? I'm just gonna find that link. Here we go, YouTube.
Oh, hang on.
So it's on your channel, but it's come up as Hex Asians. Hex Asians 12 community hangout. Here we go. Yeah.
Hang on.
So
how can I?
Hey, do you want to crash?
Oh,
Now there's definitely comments there. There's definitely comments. We have got some viewers.
How do I?
Okay, I'm just.
Some Hexicans.
I'm trying to look. Yeah, we do have comments.
Yeah,
I'm trying to work out how to.
Yeah, sorry. Well,
hang on.
A43.
I can't.
Sorry, what's that?
Trying to not mine. This is a mess, isn't it? I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to work.
I've got T-Bird Hex is out there. Finn Bear.
How do I? Here we go. That's the way I do it.
I'm there.
Hang on. Now let's catch up. Okay, T-Bird, how you going? Oh, he's come in. Oh, there's loads of comments.
Yeah.
Finn Bear,
So
g'day mate. So we've got Finn Bear going. Retro Static, how you going?
I'll go and shield this on Twitter now.
Oh, Retro Static, your wife sent us some songs, some MP3. I don't know how to play them on the stream though, but they sounded awesome. You should make more stuff like that.
Who's that?
Retro Static and his wife.
Oh yeah.
I forget her name now. She's on Twitter.
Really good Hex music's like Daft Punk or like that retro.
Emma Bones.
I've been listening to 90s grunge. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I did see that what you're saying there, Blue Bum. That was awesome. That bit of Hex music. We need more of that stuff out there. Definitely.
Yeah. There's been a few music things. I also noticed someone posted some tracks, some really like nice tracks in I think it was Hex Pro or maybe even Pulse, and they're really long kind of techno tracks.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So Jackson, going back to the
6 cents. 6 cents was where around 6 cents was where I put it if we get that nice same pump.
6 cents.
Now I don't know
July.
What timeline that. My July prediction's still 13 cents.
Yeah, mate. I'll be so happy.
Yeah, so I'll do this. So the last pump we had from where we are now, that was 7 days. And if we done that over 7 days, that if we got up to 6 cents, that would be bloody astronomical. So that's only, and it could. Hey, if it coincides with a few good announcements from Pulse.
Okay, can we do some FUD? Can we address some FUD?
What's FUD?
Okay, Unrekt plebs. So on Unrekt plebs, yeah. Okay, there's some. Let me bring it up. There's some knucklehead who's like so and so in big man on campus somewhere in the world. I don't know where, because he's in Unrekt plebs. Where's that? There's been a discourse on Twitter about this, and so when I say it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Where is it? Because I dig the FUD. I like it because it means it creates controversy and it creates spin. And so, Reggie Middleton, if Dakota mathematics audit,
that guy's a numpty, man. Don't even bother.
Look at this.
Don't even bother.
I should show you this. I should show you this GIF. It's got that guy. What's his name? The Dumb and Dumber brother or whatever. Well, he's not one of those. He's one of these American comedians going like that. You know that one?
Yeah.
It's in there. Anyway, sorry.
So, turns out that guy's like, I know. And then someone posted his he had Veritasium or whatever, and then someone posted there his like it's just literally like
Oh, mate, I read that.
avalanche
Man.
of dicks.
What? You're an academic
And
retard.
the
Hey.
SEC have been after him for like taking people's money and stuff and all this.
Yeah.
And
What's he
I
got?
don't know why. And then all of a sudden, like,
again,
why
no
do people
idea.
give a shit? Why do people give a shit what this guy thinks?
I know.
Yeah, did you see that? Did you see the thing I posted in? I think it was Hex Pro, and it was dating back to when he was doing the Veritasium launch or whatever. And word for word, it was
so he's just
basic,
chill as well. So that makes
no, but it was like, oh, this is 100% scam. Reggie Middleton owns 98% of the tokens. Like everything that he's having a dig about with Richard, he's sitting there.
There you go.
But he's also just word.
Him.
His criticisms of word salad, and so like
Yeah,
then you try to. It's just like, what are you talking? You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a complete numpty. So then you try to like give the correct information. Then he comes back with something which is just like, what on earth? You don't know what you're talking about.
I've got to be honest. Got to be honest. I opted out of the conversation because I seen those guys in there going into bat, and I thought I'm not going to
ignore. Yeah, put the blink
wound up in it.
Right,
mate,
yeah,
but it was good that I think it was.
From there.
Yeah, I think Luke was in there. He was
move on.
Putting his best foot forward for us, so that was good. So it's good that there is people out there willing to.
Oh, mate, they'll swarm. They'll swarm something like that. That'll create. Yeah, that'll be a shit fight. So there's no point going in there.
Sometimes I think it's just forward. Sometimes I don't know if it does more harm than good, because if you've got someone that is just immovable, like they've made up their mind, because it was bullshit what he said. He said, let's have an open discourse, and that was not his intention at all. Okay. He's came in with a very he came in with an agenda, and it was at the guise that it was going to be an open discourse, and it wasn't, and that's why I was like, oh, fuck this guy, I'm not even going to
You've got as much
in
chance of having open discourse with a fucktard like that as you have with a fucking monkey at the zoo who shits in his hand and throws it at you. You know, like, really? That's fucking... So, I mean, if that's your bag and you want to have a fucking discussion with a primate of lower IQ who fucking likes to hurl shit, fucking go ahead. But otherwise, you're just wasting your fucking time, really.
Exactly.
I think he's a smart monkey, but I just think he's flinging shit for... I don't think he's dumb. I think he's intelligent.
I didn't think he was intelligent.
So then he's dishonest. Then he's he's a crypto whore.
It was either nefarious or like stupid. But you can't. That was it. That's the choice.
Yeah.
But once you go into a public image or figure or whatever, some recognition in terms of followers or influence, and then you shill any coin, then straight away your credibility's on the line. And then if it's proven that coin is something that it's not, then basically, so how do you say, like, he's obviously got no integrity around the coin that he shills. He's lying in his back pocket, and it's the whole pump and dump scenario.
The problem is there's
holier than thou, and which is not true.
The problem is there's more downside for them to be. So if they go in and they come out and say, look, it looks good to me, but then it turns out to be a pile of shit, they have to wear all that. So there's a lot more downside for them. So they're better off being on the opposite side, where if they say it's shit and it comes good, oh, sorry, I was wrong, guys. So it's an easy out for them to be wrong. Whereas if they're, do you get what I mean? Like if they put their reputation on the line.
He recommended Veritasium or whatever. So, you know. How does that work?
He made it.
He made it.
Yeah.
I think that was his. Yeah. But you know what I think? I think it's actually good to have those conversations, because if you're somebody who happens to see that conversation, if you're an intelligent person, you'll be able to go, well, these people are giving arguments and they've got something to say, and this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Yep. And then you're going to go, oh, okay, and maybe you click one of their profiles and see what other things they've said, and then you actually go and you look at Hex. So I think it's I disagree.
That's a really good point, because we all sort of did that. I mean, take for example when the day that Hex was launched, RG's quite, fond of telling this story that was the moment when Vay's got his fucking lawyers for hire and they all started pouring shit on fucking Richard, that he sided with the underdog and listened to the arguments, and these guys were just talking shit. And that actually sold him on it. So there is some power to what you're saying, boy.
For sure.
I think as long as you don't lower yourself to shit flinging, because I think if you lower yourself to shit flinging, then people.
That's what memes are for.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly. Memes are so much more effective effective way to do it as well. So, it's like, because they're funny.
What was that Mark Twain comment someone posted? Don't argue with a fool, because sometimes you can't tell who's the fool.
Right. Yeah, right.
I butchered that statement, but yeah,
Or
you get that.
I think it's something along the lines: if you argue with an idiot, they'll drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Beat you with experience, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, right. They're better at being idiots than you.
Yeah, well, there's more used to it.
Yeah.
There's that monkey. I mean, you might not shit in your hand quite to the same. You might not be as practiced as the fucking crypto monkey retard who's fucking, used to bloody dumping in his hand and throwing it at people. So, yeah. Sorry, Phil. I'll get off that metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it does more harm than good when you engage with people like that.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
It is free press.
It can be a double-edged
sword. It is free
because
press. Yeah, it is free press, but some people it might stop some people from digging as far as they should, because they see some surface level
Bring your
comments.
heroes here to die. That's what Richard Hart says, and that's what I reckon too.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to all those clowns that came in and tried.
But in the end, we can't control it.
The math is the mass, and it's you and the code.
But also in the end, but in the end, we can't control how people are going to react. Like, if people suddenly think, Hex is the bee's knees, and I'm going to shit all over anyone who says differently, we can't stop those people from doing that. It's going to happen.
Well, it's a different agenda.
Or it's a decentralized community with no rules. You know what I mean? And so, and people also, like, one person's humor is another person's anger as well.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
But it comes down to results, gents. It comes down to results. It's like when you're playing sport and you're winning on the scoreboard and your opposition member's sledging you. And then you just have to, you just point at the scoreboard and go, well, look at that. And I mean, we've got the fucking, look at the chart, and you're shilling what? So,
exactly.
We're winning, you're losing, go and get fucked,
I still do get very pissed off, because where we should be is entirely different to where we are, simply because of the gatekeeping that's taken place. Yes. And there's guys that I know, like they're running nodes on validator nodes on Cardano, and having a little chat with them. I said, "Oh, you heard of Hex? No, what's that? Don't even know anything about it." Exactly. So these are guys that they're obviously they know enough in the space to be running validator nodes and things like that, but they're not getting it put in front of them, because as much as
it's just gonna, it's gonna be market cap. As soon as we're like up there in the top 5,
yeah, but that's when look at it,
they're not gonna. When are they ever gonna back? They look like fucking clowns if they do it now. It's gonna take a lot, and it's gonna get harder and harder the higher it gets.
I mean those people who didn't know about it, those people you're talking to, who are validators,
coming in is where we want to go, because I mean they're the ones that are gonna not have that blind spot from being tarnished by the industry, like it's just been a clown show for 10 years. It's mushroomed out of nothing, and then all these people are just lining up to say they're now crypto bloody OGs or whatever, and they're bloody living in their mum's basement, streaming out of the fucking stick book. It's ridiculous. They got no credibility at all.
Book?
Some of these guys. Well, they're wankers.
Unrekt. They'd have to be called 2 dicks, wouldn't they? Because you couldn't get that. You couldn't get that silly pull on just one.
2 heads and no dick. You mean? Yeah, same thing, isn't it? Yeah. That's what they're coming out of. Like they got no. I don't know. I just think it's disgusting. They got no credibility whatsoever. But
Yeah,
anyway,
well,
we're getting
they're like an overpulse chain.
Hey, Blue Bump, this is on your channel.
I know. Whereas we have so much credibility judging from this stream.
Yes, we do. Of course we do.
But we know how to have fun, Bluey. That's the other thing.
It's the bottom line. Bottom line is
The difference is we don't pretend to take ourselves that serious.
No, we don't. No, this is just a friendly.
I think the other point to make though, Jexa, is that also that although that gatekeeping sucks, and we're not seeing the realizations of potential, it's also that the flip side of that is that it's an opportunity.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and
no, that's not.
I mean, it's a case of saying the glass is half full; it's not half empty. I guess.
Positive.
Yeah,
we got to be like ignore all of the negativity and hate and everything, and just try and live your best life. And
well, when I'm trying to onboard people, I take that exact point, Unrekt, and say that if you Google it, you will find negativity and there is gatekeeping going on, but that is the opportunity and why the assets.
An opportunity to get in now before the big
right.
money comes in.
People understand that. Yeah. They do get that.
So I made a comment that I thought RG's stream that he done with Clay was magic, because Clay is someone you can. He's totally not part of Hex. He's someone that you can see as independent. He's not part of a project team or anything like that. He did admit that he holds a bag of Hex, which I think was pretty good indictment for someone that knows what's going on in the industry. But it was refreshing to hear him talk about the gatekeeping, and if you're trying to onboard someone, I think that is probably not a bad clip or interview to show them. I don't know. He's put me off.
Sorry, I've got a distraction. Distraction.
He's having a domestic.
Yeah, I think that's a good interview to show someone, because it just gives them a glimpse behind the curtain about all the shit that's going on from someone that is independent and that has admitted that he holds a bag of Hex. And if it was such a piece of shit, why would someone like that be buying it and staking it?
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
when
I
you
reckon
first
that was a cracker.
When you first were describing, when RG did that live stream with Clay, I was like thinking, what live stream did he do? And how did he describe Hex with Clay? Anyway. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed, because there was one point in that interview where Clay said, I've got a few theories why Hex is being gatekept. But then RG said, no, hang on. And he brought him back to his personal story and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, no, I want to hear. Like, I was hoping he was going to bring it back later, because I want to hear what the theories are. Like, why Play from Nomics,
I think we've got a pretty good idea why, don't we? Because, I mean, I know you guys were talking about, Binance and some of the big exchanges that are killing, like basically making so much more money than like the biggest European banks and all the banks in the world. They're killing it. And like because Hex is like decentralized, it's a different mantra, it's a different ethos to the way that business model runs. So, yeah, and I think it's important to say, yes, there's a lot of people that perhaps may have heard of Hex and got the good oil on it earlier than now, but it's important to say there's always a value proposition to Hex, and you're still early if you're getting in it around this time and around under 5 cents. Because, I mean, if you look at Wales Only, when he does his maths and code and shows his charts and things, there's a chart there where it shows, this is what Bitcoin did. And we know that Bitcoin isn't as good as Hex, because Hex is triple audited.
There's just so much that goes on in the background that we don't know, though. Like, have you guys heard about all that the MEV, the miner extracted value?
Yeah.
And what's been happening with that? And it's just like, holy shit, there's so much stuff going on in the background that we're just not aware of, and like that has a real big impact.
On Unrekt's background.
I reckon this is going to be the highest view showed ever.
Unrekt extracted value.
Don't worry about that.
He's pulsing up.
Living the dream, as they say, boys. I don't want to brag. It's all good. It's just like on the road and doing stuff when you're on the road, like streaming like this. I mean, you got to expect the unexpected, and it's real life, you know. It's just that's just how it is. It is what it is.
So minor extracted value, hey?
Yes, I saw the tweet about that. I actually learned something today, and that was it. I always,
Yeah.
if ever all the noise and everything you can't keep up with, I always go to the Richard Hart tweets because it's like the voice of reason in a mad world. Yeah.
Yeah,
He knows what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what's going on. He's calling a lot of the shit out that's going on. But it is amazing how much the cost to do transaction has decreased. And then what did he say that something had been implemented? So
well, there was bots, and they were all bidding. These bots were all bidding to get into things to arbitrage stuff. But then they did some sort of someone did some sort of change to it where it was a secret kind of bidding.
Yeah.
So
So was that a change on Ethereum or just a change in the way I don't understand where that changed.
I think it was a change in what's the thing that reads the Infura, or is that the thing that reads the blockchain, or I'm not sure. Richard Hart wrote 3 tweets and we should probably read them out actually. Shall I do that?
If you know where they are, because it was interesting how quickly it's changed. So he made mention of that, and literally from being at a constant price of above 100, it's been constantly around 60 way to do things, that's a big difference. Yeah, because usually on a Monday,
that's a massive difference.
Yeah, usually it spikes back on a Monday. It spikes back up to about 180. And it's been consistent at 65, which is good because it meant that I could get off end a few stakes that I needed to before before the 14th.
I'll read them out, hey, because I don't want to.
It's really good.
So he's gone. Want to know why?
Bots that are just stealing people's money on those flash loan trades. Yeah,
so this is me just quoting Richard's tweets. Want to know why Ethereum? Shut up, Unrekt. Want to know why Ethereum fees are lower than they recently were and might stay that way? Bots would bid higher and higher gas to beat each other to make money arbitraging a trade. They had to see the pending transactions to do that. Now they can submit transactions privately. Privately means direct to miners with no pending transactions seen publicly. So now bidding to pay miners more to prioritize happens behind the scenes and involves paying a larger percentage of the profit to the miner on the arbitrage. Instead of bidding up the gas price, miners win, users win. This is called MEV, miner extracted value. Research is being done to make it go away, but it is a ways off. I'm happy to see the ETH gas fees as low as possible, and I'm forking ETH myself to help at pulsechain.com. I like that last little bit, hey? Because he's positioning PulseChain as helping ETH. So it's not like it's direct competition with ETH.
He's just, so did he say miners win, users win, or miners win, users lose?
No, miners win, users win.
So basically people paying miners direct to process the transaction. Is that?
Yeah. If you go, there's a website where if you just do a Google search on MEV, mine extracted value, there's a website which explains it, and it sounds complicated, so I couldn't do it justice to piece of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, there's multiple levels of different games going on. Well,
that's the thing. Yeah. There's so much stuff that's going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And like with this Coinbase listing tomorrow as well, I'm sure there's all sorts of stuff going on and people on the trigger ready to do certain things if certain things happen, and if the opposite happens or whatever, and we only find out about it later.
Yeah, and I'm sure the same.
Have been made.
Yeah, I'm sure the same things goes on with all the Bitcoin miners and stuff as well. They all got their own little games and things they play, and obviously a bit different on Ethereum because there is so much more built out on it, and literally seconds count when you're doing all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it would be nice to get back to the day. I'm looking forward when we get back to the point in time where you don't have to think about the cost of a transaction, whereas at the moment that's always at the forefront of your mind when you're doing anything, buying, staking, whatever. You always got to time it and do everything right. It was as much as like I did enjoy being on Matic and providing a bit of liquidity there because you didn't have to think about the cost of doing everything. It was like fractions of a cent.
Oh, it was so nice.
And that's what ETH used to be.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame about Matic.
Well, that's what Pulse will be like, hopefully. I reckon that if Pulse works like that, we're on a winner. You know, it's good because, the ETH thing is just clunky and hard and expensive. It has been for a little while, but it's good now that the bottom line is the fees have come down a bit. So, yeah, and maybe if they remove Tether as well, who knows? Ethereum might be good as well. So that's why I think it's good that they're going to say that the market's sorted out. It's a true decentralized market with Hex. So we Hex ETH and Hex Pulse chain, and we're off to the track, I reckon.
It'd be pretty fun. It'd be pretty funny if they launched Pulse and then Ethereum just started getting really declogged and the transaction prices just went way down, and then we just have two amazing chains that we can be used for working on that we've got Hex on.
Does anyone think that the whole there was a bit of a theory going around that Binance was clogging up the Ethereum network to jack up fees to push their barrow for Binance chain and all that?
Well, they could be the ones. They could be the ones doing the arbitraging.
Exactly my point. And how do people feel about that? And is it now that Binance has rocketed up and in price and all that all of a sudden these fees come down? Do you think that might be CZ behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz, like pulling the levers?
Yeah, but there's also the danger that all these things are happening and that we're reading all of this into it. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. I'm just putting it up as a point of discussion.
It could be. Yeah, totally.
I think the truth lies somewhere in between. You got all the crazy conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And there's probably no doubt there's some shenanigans.
I think that's actually a really good point, Jack. So that it's not an absolute; it's not one or the other. But I guess the reason I was raising it was just speculation about where those percentages of influence might lie, rather than putting it as an absolute.
Yeah. Oh, look, we've seen the same thing happen when Bitcoin forked, is with all the renting of hash and all that sort of stuff. So shit goes on to try and
there was all sorts of stuff going on.
Position.
Yeah. The one thing I've been sort of thinking that might be a contributing factor to this is if that is the case, and that they do have the ability. Well, just to what extent we don't know, but that CZ's feathering his nest and furthering his interest by pulling levers. Now that Rich has made the announcement about Pulse Chain, all of a sudden the big selling point for Pulse Chain and cheaper fees becomes negated to a larger extent because the ETH fees drop. There is that on the agenda too. I think that all of a sudden the imperative, the great driving imperative for Pulse Chain is no longer. It's about a quarter of what it was a week ago.
Yeah, but just the fact that they could do things like increase the S load to the point where it is actually impossible for us to mint our really long stakes, like the 15-year ones. That enough is reason to move it.
Have they got that? Have they actually really got that level of control that they can do that? Because it's just a computer adding up.
It's not control necessarily. It's just that they're making an adjustment, and it happens to affect us in a very negative way, and they don't give a shit about us.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. It's not directed at Hex.
Look at the adoption. They should be kissing. Yeah. They should be bending.
I think they do care about us, but in a very negative way.
Yeah, well, they need to learn that we're taking it over, and that's it.
And I don't
get with the program.
Like I would like to think that Hex was that important that they were trying to change the whole network to stop us because we're that much of a threat. I don't think that's the reality. I think they've got to make calls based on the system as a whole, on where they. So if it's computationally heavy for the miners to do what Hex needs them to do, then they've got to make that more expensive. It's a user pays system.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I like the user pays. I think that's good. But when
obviously it's gotten to the point now where it's just not sustainable. And even this morning, I was helping someone unstake and restake.
Little bits you've got to go.
And we chewed up literally $120 in fees that could be better off directed as energy into Hex.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, really clipping the coupon.
That's a massive amount of money that's just that you're just pissing that up against the wall where it could be in your own pocket.
No, we've got to get it. We've got to get it to the stage like with the Kenyans. You know what I mean? You want the street vendor who's scraping together $20 a week.
Exactly. Those
so, you know, and he saves up $100 in US dollars, which is a fortune for them. And he wants to put it into a savings account. You know what I mean? You can't.
That's what crypto's for. They need to do.
Like I think that's a great. I think that's a great narrative, but I don't know whether it's anywhere close to being reality because there is already.
No, it is. Did you see the interview I did with that Kenyan guy? Like, you didn't see my last stream? It's happened.
No, I got, this was Dip Catcher.
No. I brought on Zaga, Hex Zaga.
Oh, okay, right.
Last Saturday night.
You're doing one with, is that public knowledge?
It's on this channel. Pardon?
Yeah.
What, Hex Asians?
No. It's on Blue Bum's channel, but it's only just new started up, mate. So it's I'll bring it. I'll tell you.
I'll go back and watch that one, mate. That must have been on.
If anyone hasn't seen that, I mean, I don't think I was a very good interviewer, but he was fantastic, and the stories from coming out from Kenya and from Africa are astounding. Like literally, people have been killing it, and it's like everyday people in Kenya, you know, street sellers, you know, and stuff like that, you know, like, and they could do that when it was really cheap to do it on Ethereum, but like they've been priced out now. So
when you say they're killing it, just on crypto in general,
T-shares, man, Hex.
Oh, is that right?
Onboarding Hex, like the whole of Africa, it's taking off in Africa. I'm telling you now, man, it is going to take off in Africa. Yeah. It's already started. They're way ahead of us in terms of onboarding people.
They're right. Oh, good. Well, if you're hearing stories like that from the ground, and if Hex makes that cheap enough to be able to do it, then fucking all power to it, mate. That's awesome. That's really good.
And that's why you need something like Pulse. You know what I mean? You want someone who's just scraped together $50 to put it on and chucked it out 10 years, and they've got something to hope for and to work towards, and they're making like crazy money. You know?
But it's even. I've got guys there, like they're good friends. They're tradesmen. They're on a cracking wage, but even to get into Hex, the fees and but using Staker to do it, because I think that's a nice easy path. But even still, just to dip your toe in the water and try it, you're in for a couple of $100 in fees just to exchange your Aussie dollars into ETH, swap that into Hex, stake that. Like the fees involved in doing that are your first transaction, because no one wants to go all in.
It wasn't too bad. When I did, you do it through the ramp net. Do it through the ramp network on Stake.
Mate, I had a lot of problems with that.
Hey, Bluey, can you share my screen for a sec? Bluey, can you just share my screen for a sec?
To get someone,
show everyone this.
To get someone on via ramp that without, I don't want to talk shit about the guys at Stake because they're doing a fantastic job, but the ramp guys, that was about a 4 or 5 day process to get someone onboarded. Now, granted, it was over the course of the Easter weekend, so that made it worse with all the bank holidays. But that wasn't a straightforward process, and it turned out to be quite expensive for that first couple of $100 transaction that these guys wanted to do.
Huh. Can you see this?
That was the ramp.
Just Talk Sheng.
Yeah, this Talk Sheng.
Kenyan Hex Zaga.
So this is the guy you interviewed, was it?
Yeah, he has his own YouTube, and
cool.
And they've got their own WhatsApp group. as well. They invited us to join it actually, and where they just
Yep.
talk about Hex and stuff like that, and they're just onboarding people, and they're just. I mean, go and have a look at it. I can't succinctly
cool.
describe all the things, but
Mate,
I was saying,
Hex is one of the most global communities. Like, given how long it's been around and the reach we have, and it's each country or continent, they have people doing streams, and it's not just people sitting by doing nothing. There's real engagement from all corners. It's awesome.
Oh, mate, it's amazing. Yeah, but you're right about the fees, the barrier to entry, and so if we can go to Pulse Chain and have a nice working system like Matic, and it's built
mate, just wait until
it'd be perfect storm. As you say, we're just in the eye of it now. It's the calm, and I reckon by July, Jexa, I reckon you're pretty on the money with your TA predictions and things like that.
Yeah, no, it's looking good.
That adoption over those countries is important. There's actually some really good social issues around that as well. Like, if you think about it, and I don't want to sort of cliche or pigeonhole types of people, but the Nigerians they're a legendary. They get out after it with their backs to the wall, and you get those sorts of people doing hard sell with like a good product like Hex. And they're actually earning from it. Well, then they don't need to go and rip people off.
There's a lot of look. Make no mistake. There's a lot of money in Nigeria, because I keep getting emails from millionaires in Nigeria telling me that my bank details.
Everyone knows it. Yeah, but if you could get those guys to actually focus on, and this is what Richard Hart's doing, is trying to starve the attention from the actual scams, get them into something good and wholesome, and then everyone wins. And the world is a better place because no one's trying to fuck each other, like they do. Yeah. Anyway,
totally.
That was metaphorically, not physically.
Humour there. Anyway. Anyway, sorry, as you were. That's what I reckon. Anyway, just talk Sheng is a street word.
You know where it hasn't. Word. Yeah,
it hasn't. I really like those guys. They're cool guys. They're really cool guys.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah. Where it hasn't taken off yet is in Asia so much, I don't think.
Yeah, well, that's why we're hijacking their channel.
What is it, 3 or 4
after this stream, yeah.
I think we've set it back another couple of years.
But honestly, when it takes off in Asia as well,
well, that's arguable, Bluey, because what about the as far as institutional investment goes?
Oh, bugger institution. I'm talking people, man. Just numbers of people. Yeah.
I get that, but in the volumes, like is it 3 hours or 4 hours from Singapore?
I don't think they have Hex. I'm sorry. I haven't bought that. I haven't bought that Kool-Aid. No, the 3 Arrows Capital.
Singapore are ahead of the curve, mate. They're onto it. They're sharp.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that 3 Arrows. I know the evidence that was presented to me that it was 3 Arrows Capital was, I thought, flimsy at best.
Mate, I know who it is.
I know everyone's gone. Well, it could just be a person. It could be a teenager in their basement. It doesn't matter who it is.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Any of that. It's Singapore itself as a technology centre that's got.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm saying. Well, that's what I said. I'm saying, once it starts, I don't think it has taken off in Asia yet. And once it does start taking off in Asia, that's going to be another.
Great.
And it's also so early in all of these places anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, the great firewall.
So what were you saying, JFK? I kind of interrupted you.
Oh no, that's all right. It was just, I think that the point that Unrekt's making is really, really valid. That it's nice to have the guys from Kenya getting set up and getting the networking done, but until the fees, I mean, as much as the fees burn us,
they were OGs. They were before me.
No, mate.
As much as we complain about the fees and the cost that it is to do things, it's a factor of 10 or 100 to them.
Yeah,
so
some of these guys. So you got to realise
they're also really ahead of us. They've got the M-Pesa where they can just they just text each other money. They're way ahead of us.
That's right. What I'm talking about is
you are right about that. Yes,
is the barriers to fees. We're getting into Hex, and it's a barrier for us in the first world when we're trying to onboard people, and that's a factor of 100 or 1,000 for the people in the third world. And you can have the YouTube channels and you can have all that, but until no one's going to spend 2 months' wages to obtain hex and put a stake in, and we go, well, geez, you have to spend a day's wages to do it.
Yeah. Look, a lot of these guys, because they were in early, they were doing it all. Like when ETH was like pennies to do this kind of stuff, and so a lot of them got in during that time. And now that the fees have gone up, yeah, it hits everybody. It hits everybody. And this whole first world, third world, it's kind of it's a bit of a misnomer nowadays. Like we're all
it's not. It's an economic reality.
No, it is. We're all fourth world. We're all
mate,
fourth world now.
Hey, did you not hear
no.
Hex Jenga say? Did you not hear Hex Jenga say, like, this lady over there used, like, she, I don't know, was in Hex and she made a profit because she got the Uniswap token and she bought. Well, you remember what he said? What their phone is? It's not a smartphone. It's like a serial phone or something like this. They don't even, like, so excited.
The text. Yeah.
Mate, yeah. So JFK 666. You're absolutely right. I was going to ask you. I know you were talking about work and things before. I don't know. Are you allowed to say what your trade is or what your skill is? Because
sure. I mean, I work as a plant operator.
Right. So civils plant
Manufacturing.
Machinery or manufacturing. Okay. Yeah. Because I just wanted to, because I heard you talking about it, and I know you're doing the memes and things like that. And we've all got to sort of, like, manage our real world stuff and that with day to day. And
For about another year and a half. Unrekt. For about another year and a half.
You reckon?
Actually, there's something I just want to, if I may, just change the subject a little bit.
Sure.
That I've mentioned it before, that not this Christmas, next Christmas, if Hex is above 10 cents by that time, and I'm feeling fairly confident that it is, that's it for me and work. I'm done. Right? Finished. Over. Yep. That's when it starts. Now, because I sort of was an OG, and you keep looking at the price and you keep thinking about what you paid for it, and oh geez, that seems expensive. Well, then I come to a really big realization just a couple of weeks ago that it's going to be really hard 18 months to wait until I get to turn in my work card. And so what I realized is that my thing with Hex now is not to stake long and 555. I've got plenty of those. It's to stake out 1 year, exactly 1 year, for the reason that I'm halving my capital gains tax, and I'm buying my freedom. I'm actually going to be buying my freedom from work 8 months earlier by doing shorter stakes right now.
Yep.
So that, and yeah, I understand as far as, Kareem would do backflips. I think about the dream account and da-da-da-da-da, but the thing that I'm buying is more valuable, and that's 8 months earlier.
Exactly.
Getting out. And when I made the point I'm trying to make is that it's a realization that Hex has a multifaceted uses.
Yes.
And when I came to the point of realization that that was going to be my reality, that I'm going to be waiting and it's going to be a bloody long time, it's going to feel like a really long time, that I can actually buy my freedom quicker by doing that. And that was like a second coming for Hex for me. No pulse jokes, please. So,
that's awesome. No, mate, that's really good.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just
we've all got very
uses.
We've all got very different life circumstances and situations, and you've got to, like, adapt to what you want. You know what I mean?
But Bluey, it's not even just that we have different ones. What I'm trying to tell you is a story of that, how my situation is a different one when I came to that realization.
Yeah.
And so Hex can have multiple uses for the one individual, whether you've got kids or for your retirement, or in my case, buying that retirement quicker.
Yeah.
That there's more than one use case for each individual for Hex.
I know. And when they get forceful with their views, and you're just like, hang on a minute, you're acting like you're talking for everyone, and you're not, because you know why? It doesn't, for that very reason, it's so versatile. It's like,
Versatile is the word, Unrekt. Yeah, you're spot on.
You can adapt the product to your situation, and you can make it work for you and your personal circumstance. And I can sort of get the different points of view about longer pays better, blah 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 blah. But
if you're young,
you don't want to be the richest man in the graveyard, do you?
That's right. And if you're young, you may want to bat for the fences. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing about
you might have to explain that analogy.
Bet for the fences. I think Aussies would be the only ones that wouldn't get. That's a US term, isn't it? Betting for the fences.
So you don't is it? I thought it was a cricketing term.
I think it was more baseball, isn't it? Bat for the fences or smack it out of the park.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
2.5 years is a good rule of thumb, I reckon.
I think it's international, that one.
But it's not an unforeseeable thing that when you've done that enough, and you've put out long stakes, then I mean,
how many do you need?
You start to ladder back, so that you can enjoy that. Start enjoying that financial freedom.
How much money do you really need? So you can chuck it all out there and you can be a billionaire. And there's guys like the guys that are chucking out I think they're up to about 20 million stakes now. Those two, there was 24 million that got restaked for 10 and 15 years, so it got split. And that was when the price of HEX was at 1.2 cents or something. So now they're up around the 40 odd million worth of funds that have been chucked out for 10 or 15 years. So those guys are going to be absolutely rolling in it when that comes around, no doubt, and good luck to them. But for the average person, if you can wipe out all your debt and like JFK saying, if you've got enough to have a great life, you can have those long ones sitting out there and extra payday when they come home. But if you've brought your time back and you can do what you like with your life, and you just by chucking in some of those shorter ones as well, there's nothing wrong with all of that.
No, it just becomes a natural order of things, and it's a changing priorities. And I guess my point was internally in me was that coming to that realization and that understanding that there is that other function for HEX.
Definitely. And it's hard because I sit there and go, should I just chuck all these out really long? Because we understand the system, so we understand that chucking them out there long, it's the best play. Like for returns, for returns, it's the best play. Yeah. But is that, you've got to think of your lifestyle in between now and 15 years' time.
Certainly, the average staking length has gone out to 5.46. I just checked that on Staker, so that makes it. Yeah, that's really getting quite. It's going to get like the difficulty is going to go up, and the interest is going to.
Okay, put that in perspective of how much liquid there is, and how many short stakes there are, and big short stakes as well.
Yeah.
So to get that average up to 5.6 years, that's a lot of. That's a lot of long stakes.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
Yeah.
It is indeed. Interesting stuff, isn't it? Hey,
have
boys,
you thought?
I'm going to scoot off shortly, but it's getting dark here, and I've got a few things that I've got to sort out. It's an hour and a half. Are we all right? Is that all right? Should I jump off? Hour and a half is my time limit.
Well, happy sorting, mate.
Hey, thank you, boys. Love yous and ladies.
Cool.
Cool, man. See ya. So have you thought about JFK? Have you thought about how you're going to spend your time?
I have actually. Do I really want to? I do have a plan for a business, and it's in Europe, and we'll just say that. I have the opportunity to gain EU citizenship as well as Australian.
Oh, through which country?
Latvia, actually.
Ooh.
My father is, when he was very young, escaped the Soviet occupation, and as a direct descendant, that enables me to gain Latvian citizenship. So,
have you looked into how you would get any of your HEX across and get it into the more tax efficient
No, not
structures
yet.
over there?
I'll worry about that when the time comes.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
mean,
asking because I'm in a similar position where I can get Maltese. A
well, I
Maltese
think you're
passport.
probably going to win because Malta's one of the great havens. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I mean, you could look at even options, and once you're an EU citizen, you've got freedom of movement. So you could set up residency in somewhere like, say, Germany, I guess. Once you're an EU citizen, then you've got no crypto taxes.
Yeah, those guys they've got it really good over there, haven't they?
Well, we in Australia, we complain about it. Nobody likes paying taxes, but we've got it pretty good too, with the capital gains tax being halved after a year, which is why those more recent states, those shorter ones, I'm putting them out for a year. I'm not paying, 40% plus capital gains tax on any gains. It'll be, the very low 20s, if not less.
Yep. No, cool. I think there's going to be quite a few people that are
looking at tax laws around the world.
Yeah.
Looking at citizenship qualifications around the world. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Actually, this is a good place to kind of maybe just shield my next stream, which is going to be on Sunday at noon, which, you both are invited to if you want to come along to. I'm going to have Dip Catcher, and we're going to be talking about like what the world will look like after like 2 or 3 Quattro Cinco's. And what if this is a really big mass thing that it becomes the world's savings accounts, you know what I mean? And then maybe there will be competition between countries to entice Hexicans to them.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Malta has done, and Puerto Rico.
What's happening now. We're seeing countries trying to entice rich people to come to their countries by offering lower tax rates and cryptocurrency, specific to cryptocurrency as well. Hey?
That's always occurred anyway. I mean, look at the Cayman Islands and places like that. Even for legacy finance, there's always been a market. If you've got enough, you've got access to it.
Right.
Same, but different. Nothing new under the sun there. But I guess from the country's perspective, it's interesting too. Like what do you do? If you make it so attractive by dropping nothing, next to nothing what you're gaining off of it, then your net gain for having these people there is, as far as revenue goes, is negligible or next to nothing. So from the government's perspective, it's like a sliding scale too. You've got to maintain some sort of net benefit.
Yeah, I think So the net benefit is if someone wealthy comes in, they're not sponging off of your medical system, so they can afford their own medical costs. They're not getting any pensions or anything like that. They're injecting money into the economy by spending. So I think it's it should be a net positive having wealthy individuals come into your country. And it amazes me that countries like Australia, which is a great place to live, don't want to add some carrot to keep wealthy people and their businesses in Australia. And we've seen it happen so many times where people get to
but it depends what you mean by wealthy. If you mean wealthy to a very large extent, like when's the last time Murdoch paid tax? I mean,
but why is that so?
One prime minister ago, it was an open thing that Turnbull had accounts in the Cayman Islands.
Exactly.
There he is getting paid by the taxpayer, and he's dodging it at the same time.
So that's what I'm saying. So why? So everyone knows that's going on. So why not make your country more beneficial so people don't have to go overseas? If everyone's doing it, why wouldn't you just?
Absolutely, it can become a race to the bottom from a government perspective, or a race to the top, as far as minimising your tax. And in the marketplace of crypto and taxes, I think that's sort of an inevitable sort of change on a global scale. But you've got to remember that governments they might disagree with each other about many things, and they might disagree and go to wars and everything, but they all help each other police tax, except on the mega. Like, you know, they will assist. They won't assist tax dodging unless, you know, you're a Rupert Murdoch or extremely rich person. Then you play by different rules. But they do assist each other with taxation. So I mean, that's the other counter argument, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out. I think it's going to be fascinating.
How do they assist each other?
They have tax treaties.
They have tax treaties and understandings, and they do virtually, for people who have dual citizenship, they work together to make sure that, you know, you scratch my back. One government says to the other, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, so we don't miss out on our tax revenue by people. And that's pretty universally understood.
So that's why everyone ends up in the little havens.
Yeah, I mean, and unless you're worth, you know, hundreds of millions of bucks, try getting into the Cayman Islands Bank, where, you know, you can dodge all tax forever, basically. You know, and it's one bloody shack on an island in the middle of the Pacific. And as I said, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Remember the Panama Papers that came out? You know, the journalist disappears. As I said, we get the highest office holder in the land in Australia was all but admitted tax cheat. You know, and everyone celebrated that. It's like, oh, geez, I wish I could do that. You know, like, oh, you plebs. You know, if you can't hold them to account, well, what hope have you got? You know.
Oh, it's pretty obvious that our politicians aren't held to account in Australia.
No, that's definitely been a slide in the last 7 or 8 years. Definitely. I mean, not that it was fantastic before, but it's definitely. I mean, that's comes from having, you know, well, Bluey and I live in Queensland, where 100% of the print media is owned by one company. 70% of the print media in this country is owned by that same company. And they're in bed with the politicians, one side of politics. So what do you get? Well, it's inevitable. You get rampant corruption, no journalistic accountability. The third estate becomes a propaganda vehicle. So you get what you get. You know, you've got to. But people are starting to get fed up. But it's a matter of there's two very strong competing forces there. What's going to happen? Do we end up?
Have you been following?
Sorry, you go.
Have you been following what's happened to Christine Holgate, who was the CEO of Australia Post, and and she got and ScoMo ripped into her because she gave some watches to some executives, and now she's just had her day in front of the Senate inquiry today, and she's ripped another one into a few people.
With all of their female troubles, it's not real good.
She was completely shafted because she had an idea. It was more the banks, because she had an idea to make because all these banks are closing all these branches across Australia, and so people were using the Australia Post as their bank, and so that was costing Australia Post a lot of money. And so she finagled this deal where the banks would pay those Australian Post, those independent contractors, money to handle everyone's things. And she also floated the idea of Australia Post becoming a bank, which is like a national bank for Australia, which I think is a fantastic idea. And so she was fully shafted by the pollies because they're in bed with the banks. And now there's a Senate inquiry, and so you'll see it on the news probably tonight and in the next few days. She had a bit of her day in front of the Senate inquiry today, and I think so. She ripped a few people a new one, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
To explain to the non-Australian viewers, he means Bluey's, when he says ripped a new one, means tore them a new arse. So anyway, sorry, I'm just translating.
Well, she told the truth, and they were shifty as to her, like both sides, Labor and Liberal. They ganged up on her, and it was because they're in the pockets of the banks, which is obvious after you saw the banking inquiry, and nothing has been done about that. In fact, all those laws that they put in, all those new rules, not laws, all those new rules they put in for loans and all that kind of thing has all been rolled back. So it's just like it's free for all with the banks now.
Yeah, good on you, fellas. Keep throwing that petrol on the crypto fire.
That's it.
Yeah, so that was going to be my comment. So why are you in crypto? And this is the exact reason. Like all the bullshit that goes on, this is at the moment has been for a while. This is our little isolated patch of turf where we can stay out of all the bullshit that is affecting the monetary policy side of things. We can have our own little isolated segment. Obviously, that's getting more corrupted now with Bitcoin, and as it becomes more, I guess, attached to the legacy finance. So who knows how much longer we can keep it like this? But I think the guys that are in here now have still got a good opportunity to make good on this situation until it does eventually get bloody absorbed into the rest of the traditional finance, and you can't tell one from the other again. But yeah, I think Hex. That's exactly why I'm in Hex. Is it seems to be making a conscious effort. It's making a conscious effort to keep that divide. And if it can continue to do that, I think we're in the right place from that point of view.
Yeah, crypto's the place to be, no doubt about that. And it's really great as well because crypto is the only place where you see real competition. You know, like you don't see it in other areas so much because it's also corrupted, and because there's competition, you're getting better services. You know, this is where all the innovation is happening, and it's because governments can't touch it. And they're going to try to, obviously, but they can't really. You know,
all the marketing to sell alleged innovation in a lot of the crypto space, I'd argue. It's a very cynical. That's a cynical point of view, but
no, I'm not talking about the marketing of the cryptos. I'm talking about actual innovation, like what Pulse is about to do. You know, like what Hex does. Like there's
outside of those two. Continue the list.
Well, okay, the Uniswap. They've just
that's been
not the Uniswap token. Uniswap tokens.
No,
governance token. That's just speculative instrument.
No, but their version 3 is about to come out, and that's a whole new way of. That's innovative, man. Like if you.
That is the version 3 is innovative, but
it's a tool.
But it's been bastardized from version 1, which was totally decentralized, to where version 3 is and where it's going to be. Or everyone's got their greedy little hands in it again. The VCs want their piece of the pie again, and it's no longer this decentralized machine again. It's now everyone back to the same people. Power's in the hands of the same wealthy already in that system.
And Bluey, the other thing is
but hang on. I'm talking about purely on the technical level. Like they've implemented all this stuff where liquidity providers going to have all these other options to what they're doing.
Don't get me wrong. From the technical side, from
the DEX is a tool. Is not anything to do with the crypto. The crypto.
Of course, it is.
No, the crypto.
Oh yeah, no. I know. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about Uni token. I'm talking about the contract.
We were talking about cryptos. We were talking about cryptos, not the tools for exchanging crypto. And so when you talk about Uniswap and you're talking about cryptos, you've got to talk about the token. I mean, because there's no argument, and there's absolutely no argument about the DEX and the tools being an innovative thing, but they ran without the token. The token was a duct tape.
I know. There's no argument there. There's no argument there.
That's right.
There's no argument there. But what I was talking about is
cryptos, Bluey.
I was talking about I was talking about the whole industry. I was talking about the whole cryptocurrency scene. And there is more innovation. ZK Sync, ZK rollups. There's tons of innovation happening in the cryptocurrencies because there's tons of money pouring into it and there's tons of real competition. That's. I mean, it doesn't. I'm not talking about only tokens.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, if we can get this in this industry and it sticks, this will be a big thing. And it's like what Dash is trying to do, where with the privacy side of things. I think we're always going to keep butting our head up against that wall, because that is the biggest hurdle that can separate you from traditional finance. So once they can't see what you're doing with your funds and they can't police your funds, then that's game over from a traditional finance point of view. All this, and I believe you should pay your taxes because we all use the services, the community services and things like that. So it's not about trying to avoid taxes. I think there's got to be better ways of doing that. But the right to own your own money and control it and do what you like, it doesn't exist. And even in crypto, to some degree, it still does, but they can still peer in and see what you're doing. And my belief is that shouldn't be the case. So if you can get, if something like a Dash, like Monero is brilliant, but I just think as much as people love it, I think it's hard to use at this point in time. If you've got something that's easy, private.
Apparently it's gotten a lot easier very recently. I was reading some. Have you tried it recently, or?
Well, I was helping some people do it, and it's still, there's a lot of bullshit that goes around with it. You're basically running you've got to run your node yourself, sort of thing. You can do light nodes and things like that, but it's still pretty clunky. But not so much from a technology point of view, but from a like an ethos point of view. Like if you can clearly divide that, so we have the right to have private cryptocurrencies, or you don't need permission to have, you divorce yourself from having to be required to have permission to hold your own funds. That is the absolute game changer in my point of view, in my opinion. Because at the moment we're all still beholden.
The story about that guy in Germany who got for I can't remember what criminal thing he was charged with, and he was sent away, and the courts ordered that his Bitcoin be seized, and he went, "Not telling you my keys, sorry."
Yep.
And that was the end of that.
Yep.
So that's although that is a very empowering thing, that probably scares the living crap out of the powers that be, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, if they really wanted to, they could just turn your life upside down. Yes, you may get away with not.
Well, he's in jail, so I mean,
exactly.
You can't. But I think he was going to jail anyway, and the courts on top of that ordered that they seize his assets for whatever. Yeah. I can't remember what the actual crime was, but that was the court order. And I mean, as far as going to jail and depriving him of his liberty and serving the time, well, he's got no choice. But as far as seizing his digital assets go, he went, well, you can't have my keys. End of story.
So
game over.
So we're going backwards from having cash as a means of privacy. So we're losing that ability because we all use credit cards and all that bullshit now. But if we can get that level of privacy back
to store a value,
whether or not we can do that, I don't know, because that is always that's the regulatory hurdle, and where you're likely to get dragged over the coals time and time again, because they've got you by the nuts if they can control your funds.
How much longer though do you reckon they can get away? Like, I mean, the obvious argument is like, why do we have to pay taxes if you can print as much money as you want? Like, how long do they get away with that obvious fraud?
Done it since the age of time.
How long's a piece of string, Louis?
But no, but it's only really been since 2008 where they call it.
I'm saying the collecting taxes bullshit. So that goes back to
where
the Lord used to send his bloody.
But they weren't printing and devaluing like they are now. It's I don't know, like. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have been devaluing. I just think it's the rate of acceleration, and compared to 100 years ago, look at what a dollar bought. You know, that's a reflection of constant devaluation. But I totally get what you're saying, that the rate of that devaluation is accelerating. You know.
Yeah.
So do you think it would be good if Pulse had Tornado Cash built in somehow?
Oh, I think it'd be bloody awesome.
Well, it will. It
might
obviously
bring it might be regulatory heat might come.
No, it won't be built in.
So, but if you had a mechanism, so I'm totally cool with someone knowing whatever funds are in a wallet, as long as no one knows who owns that wallet. And at the moment, it's too easy to find a wallet owner because of the way you've got to get them through all the on-ramps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can then put your coins through a Tornado Cash, and you can still everyone can still see the flow of money, and they can be happy that they can interrogate the blockchain and see flows. But as long as they can never pin it down to an owner, which is the way cash works, that's a pretty good solution, I think.
Mm. Yeah, but
so rather
if you put it into sorry, boy, go on.
Well, so you're saying rather than people doing that on because we could do that now. Like we could all go to Tornado Cash and we could do it.
It's cost prohibitive.
Yeah, it's just, but we could do it, right? So you're saying have it actually built into.
Well, have it to a point where it's usable. At the moment, it's not usable because there's not enough people using it. So therefore, it doesn't give you enough anonymity, and it's expensive to do it. But
Wouldn't be the first time that hexagons have enabled a technology.
Yeah, so that's right. So if it's almost free to do it, then it would be pretty, like, I would be more inclined to do it if you can chuck money in there and you're not.
So just a question, wouldn't that still, I mean, I get what Tornado Cash Out basically works. So you're making the crypto anonymous, but when you're actually turning it into cash or going through an exchange, then again, through the KYC and stuff, aren't you just identified anyway?
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree. But at the moment, it is pretty easy to trace from point of origin. If you're really that interested, you can track down most people's addresses. So as soon as they enter in the crypto, you can see all the flows, and you don't know always who owns it, but they're trying to reach in further and further, which was evidence to what happened in the US not so long ago, where they were trying to pass that law where the next hop off of an exchange had to be KYC'd as well, essentially. So they had to know who owned that address, because as soon as they can legally tie you to that address, then it's easy for them to trace it through.
Yeah, they're calling them VESPs or something, hey? Something like
that. Whatever terminology they were trying, but basically they're trying to reach further and further into the blockchain to put
more
KYC.
Yeah, more
exactly.
KYC.
And that's like I was saying, that's where they got you by the balls, is why they can track you and they know what you're doing with every cent. They've got control of what you do in your life. As soon as you go into cash, they can't do that. So I think in crypto, that's the one thing we need to try and preserve, is that ability to maintain our privacy. Not so much of not trying to hide funds, but maintaining privacy. So if I want to send funds to you, should you really be able to see everything that's in my address? Like, it just makes that's what makes it hard to use this as a day-to-day currency, because every time I want to send someone that I know something, without them seeing everything I own in my addresses, I've got to create a new address, route through something to.
Yeah, you can do Tornado Cash, and
you can't at the moment though. It's cost prohibitive.
Like, how much is it? 10% or something?
I don't know the exact figure, but why should you wipe off? Why should it cost you anything to have privacy in your money?
Yeah. No one's cracked that nut yet, eh?
Monero and all that are trying to do it, but it's,
I don't know.
I think it's an isolated system.
Breaking my balls with fees.
So if you can get free transactions again, bring that back on, and if you can have some level of privacy, but without it destroying the whole. So case in point, all Australian exchanges had to lock down privacy coins, so you couldn't export. You couldn't send your privacy coins off an exchange anymore. You couldn't swap them because the Australian regulators came down hard on it. So if as soon as you can crack that nut, then crypto will give everyone back the power that they deserve, I think, or they should have, the rights they should have.
I mean, what's to stop us from now from like swapping Ethereum for Monero? We can only do it in small amounts, but you can do that.
Got to leave
you offshore
got to go off
exchanges
chain again, though.
But
So
you
once
can do,
again,
you don't need
Sorry, you go.
you can get at small levels. You can get onto exchanges without KYC, and you can do like small transactions for things like Ethereum to Monero. Then you've got your Monero, and you send that to another Ether address which is not connected to anything, and that's it. It's clean. No?
Yeah. Well, you're still going through someone that knows all your business. But so what I'm saying is, if you've got something
that exchange, yeah,
and if you've got something on
but that
Pulse
exchange,
chain,
you could just do any email address on that exchange.
oh yeah,
That's
no, don't get me wrong, you can, yeah, you can, yeah, you can do burner emails and things like that for sure, yeah. But once again, you're hopping between networks. So Tornado Cash is great because you don't have to change networks, but it's cost prohibitive and someone's taken a fee to do it. If you can make that free, close to free, keep it on chain, have almost instant transactions and free, and you still got this savings account, interest-bearing savings account bolted onto the side of it in Hex, that to me is the full box and dice. I'd be happy that my world would be happy with that.
All it will take is a handful of hexagons to pay some, because we've already got like the Hex NATO, and obviously they take quite a bit as well. But if enough hexagons wanted that service, I'm sure you could pay a developer to do a decentralized contract where there was no fee taken out because we just paid the developer straight up to do the work.
Yep. So that's what it should be. It should be a free decentralized service. Shouldn't be a cost to do that, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, it's very possible. It's not out of the realms at all, hey?
So if that comes out, I'm a happy man.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of good things to look forward to.
I think so. You obviously let your streams run a bit longer than Unrekt.
Yeah. Well, so we're up to like an hour 52. I guess it's probably time. I'm a bit hungry. Time for dinner. So thanks JFK666. Thanks heaps, mate, for jumping on. Always love your input. Love your memes. So looking forward to this next one, mate. I've
got to check out the Twisted Sister one. I missed that. I'll have to go back and find that one.
It's brilliant. It's so good, hey. And I'm spewing that I was taken down because I had to cut it out of my thing if I wanted Americans and Canadians to be able to view the video. And I went, but I did it anyway just to,
Yeah.
But they can see it in other places. And
it's on Twitter, Jaxa.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. Yeah.
And as I said, keep an eye out for Wake Up Hex.
What's actually, JFK, what's the best way? If people just want to look through all of your memes, just go to your Twitter profile and they can see them all there. If they just go to your media section and it's all in there, hey?
They just have to sort. Yeah, that's right. They just have to sort through some, inane comments that I make in between them. But, if you just scroll down, But I'm
just wondering an easier way because you've been doing it for months now, haven't you? So if you go to Twitter and you just actually, you just click onto your media.
JFK666.
Yeah, it's
JFK666. It should come up.
Anyway, check out that. Thanks for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Have a look at Wake Up Hex. You're gonna love that one. I even after looking at it so many times, there's a couple of things in there that just really, really make me wet myself. It's a good one. It's up there.
Yeah, cool, man. And you can see, the fun you're having with it. It comes out in the videos. It really does. Yeah.
Well, thank you, gents. Thank you very much.
Is this the one that starts off with Vitalik at the front?
Yep.
Cool. I'm on it. Thanks, mate.
No worries, gents. Thank you.
Cool. And Jexa, thanks a lot for coming on, mate.
Yeah,
Always
anytime,
great
mate.
to speak to you. And anything to
And
say to the people, to your fans before you leave?
Do I have fans? I don't know. It's good to keep chatting to people in Telegram. A great community, and Pulse Chains Telegram group pumping as well. I spend a fair bit of time in there and a fair bit of time in Hex Security. No doubt I'll chat to everyone on the Telegram groups.
Brilliant. And to everyone who's watching, Sammy, Retrostatic, Zappa, Hornet UK1, Benny, how you going, bro? And everyone else who's been in here, Finn. We love you guys. I'm spewing. I couldn't have your comments sort of coming up because you have amazing, awesome, funny comments as well. And but we look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be back on the Unrekt channel next week. And I've got another stream coming up on Sunday at noon, and with Dip Catcher. So come and check that out. That's the whole Eastern Seaboard's in Australia's the same time now, isn't it? So 12 noon on in Melbourne, Sydney, Brizzy. And see everybody. Thanks a lot for joining in.
Bye for now, guys.